we should consider on the table having you come in every 6 weeks or so and getting an infusion of this antibody. And once you start, we really don't know when you'll need to stop. We'll need to see if your body takes to the antibody. We'll need to see if you get to normal ranges with the antibody in your blood, and we'll need to monitor how often you're getting sinus infections. Now, I didn't have any sinus disease, luckily. I was really grateful that I never had any, polyps or crazy shit going on in my up here. It was basically an immune response. My body got weak, and when it would get into these weakened states, I would get sick. Again, with all the run of the gamut of those symptoms that I mentioned previously. And, when I made the shift, when I started utilizing these 5 methods, I was able to overcome my sickness and disorder. You're here today to learn about, what is it that you can do to help yourself if you have an autoimmune problem, an immunodeficiency. What is it that you can do to help others who are struggling and suffering with this self-same type of issue? Not exactly the same symptoms, but dealing with autoimmune problems. What are some basic strategies that you can bring to this person who you care deeply about? You don't want to see them suffer anymore. You want them to have amazing tools that will help overcome their continuous suffering, their day in and day out struggle. It can end here. It can end with you. And you might also be here because you're healthy and you want to know, are there some things that you can do to take it to the next level? Are there some things that you're missing from your practice that would be really beneficial to you in overcoming whatever barriers you have currently in your well-being and wellness? Maybe there's something else that you haven't considered. And maybe these 5 things are things you've encountered before, and only now do you understand. Only now are you willing to take the moment to listen and hear why they might be beneficial. So these methods of healing, again, they come first in this hue idea. Before we uplift you, before we empower you, we must make sure that you have the setting, the stage, the mindset that knows I am capable and I can do this. And I assure you that you can do this. You can integrate these methods if you're suffering. If your health is spiraling out, you can utilize these methods to get better, to get you a better quality of life and standard of living for your own internal world and for the life that you get to live. Because let's face it, you might be like me, who when you were sick every 4 to 6 weeks, that meant everything needed to stop. That meant work needed to stop, school needed to stop, studying needed to stop, personal development needed to stop, relationships needed to stop. In fact, it was a drain on relationships because then someone needed to be there for me. Someone needed to take me to the doctor. Someone needed to help me with my medicine. When I reached that point at 16 years old, when someone told me your health is no longer in your hands, I said, fuck that. Fuck that. This is my life. This is my body. And I'm going to figure this out. And I set out on a quest with all my heart and soul. It became my mission to figure out how to heal myself and uplift myself and empower myself with the skills and methods to overcome this. So let's get into it, my friends. Now, if you are a beginner and health is something that you've never really focused with before, well, I would recommend just doing some basic research about diet, about food and lifestyle, understanding that eating more plants is good, that eating less sugar is good, things like that. So I always recommend, as a major help in my life, someone who's really helped me in creating this mindset is Rhonda Patrick, Dr. Rhonda Patrick. And Dr. Patrick I believe she's a PhD biologist and chemist, and she's based out of, I believe, Los Angeles. And her company called Found My Fitness, you can go to foundmyfitness.com and follow them on Instagram, follow her company, and donate to her on Patreon or donate directly to her website. I give her $5 a month because I believe in her, I believe in helping her, and as I develop my own, lifestyle and my own, mission, I want to be able to help her more because she really is the pillar of heal in my life at this point. Now, method one. Method one is sleep and rest. Sleep and rest. Now, Dr. Matthew Walker was on Joe Rogan's podcast. He recently released a book dedicated to discussing the need and necessity, the highest requirement that sleep has in our lives. And that there is a moral bankruptcy and a literal bankruptcy of sleep in this society. That we are drained. So many of us are working and living, operating only on anywhere from 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night. And Dr. Walker explains that unless you're part of this, select group of genetic anomalies, you are likely like 95% of people, and you need actually 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep. Boom. 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep. I don't know if we can get it like giant on the screen next to me, but 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep. When I was between the ages of like 14 and 18, I must have gotten like on average 5.5 to 6 hours a night. I did not have a healthy sleeping habit or sleeping ritual. In fact, I was sabotaging myself constantly. This was crushing to my childhood and my development. And only once I was able to break free from high school and that having to be up early constantly, I finally was able to dedicate myself to getting more rest. Now what happened? What happened was that I found myself sleeping 7.5 to 9 hours. And when I got sick the summer after I graduated high school, I decided to run an experiment. I was just going to wait it out. I was not going to the doctor, nor was I going to get any medicine, because I pretty much destroyed the bacteria in my gut from constantly consuming antibiotics, which, if you don't know that that's what happens, well, all the good bacteria inside of you die, and they need to be replaced. So we can talk about that in the next method. So the thing is, if you're not sleeping, if you're not getting adequate rest, and I mean 7.5 to 9 hours a night, consistently throughout your week, you are sabotaging yourself. You are making it so hard for your body to do the work that it needs to do. And even if you are getting enough rest and you're saying, Jordan, I don't understand. I do get 7.5 to 9 hours a night. I don't understand what you're saying. This is a mismatch to my life. And I would challenge you on that.